Everybody, welcome back to the ArmorCast. I am Robert Jones, and I am joined here with Ben Sarro of GAF. Thanks for coming in, Ben.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, we really appreciate it. So just really quickly, introduce yourself and a little bit about who you are and what you do with GAF.
Yeah, so I work for GAF, and we are the leading manufacturer of shingles in the country, one of the oldest shingle manufacturers, and I cover Eastern Tennessee for the company. But, this is kind of unique for me because my background before I got into manufacturers, reps, and sales was I was in radio. So
Okay.
this is
Right.
this is very different for me being on this side of it. And we were joking around before. I'm not used to being on camera, and you could tell that this was a face that was made for radio. So I feel so conscious.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. I think some of these things, Paul and I've talked before. It's like sometimes it's just do it and pretend that none of that is there.
Right, yeah.
So, but yeah. Well, so the first, we're really here. We want to get a little bit of information about GAF.
Mm-hmm.
GAF roofing system, what it's about. There's a lot of options, obviously, when it comes to re-roofing your home. Be it just some inexpensive shingles so you can get something up there versus, full roofing system through GAF or some of the other major competitors. So really the first question we have here is kind of the obvious one. You're at an appointment. Why GAF? We have Owens Corning, we have Certainty. What is
Who's
it about
that?
GAF? Yeah, exactly. that makes it so unique.
Yeah,
I know that's a long-winded question. I'm sure you could talk for.
Oh, I could give you a long-winded. Anybody who knows me knows I give you a long-winded answer.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's a great question, and really it's all about a story, and it's about a great company with great people who do great things. But it really starts at the beginning of our company. We've been around for 140 years. So we actually started out as a film company. In fact, GAF. The top question I get outside of some of the things you just asked, warranty systems, things like that, the number one question I get is they say, "What does GAF mean?" And if you talk to any of us that are GAF people, you'll find we all kind of recoil at that GAF. We're like, "Oh, it's not GAF. It's actually GAF," and what it stands for is General Aniline and Film. We were started as a film company, and for people in your age group, film was this thing that went in a camera and you took pictures and you got it developed.
Briefly
Remember that? So, and for people, it's funny. I'm 50, and I think back when I was a kid, like one of the coolest gifts you could get for Christmas, which by the way was the hot retro gift this last Christmas, was the Viewmaster, which was this red box and had these discs, and they had like African Safari or Rome, and you flip that. That was the GAF Viewmaster. In fact, you can go to YouTube and look up GAF Viewmaster, and you'll see all these ads that used to run with Jodie Foster and Henry Fonda, and it's just kind of cool. But we were a great film company, and at some point we got into the roofing business because the film business and the roofing supply business was they relied on many of the same products. So we made a roofing product about 100 years ago called Ruberoid, which is still in production today. I just got a call about it the other day on a commercial job, and that's still with us. It's 100 years old, and then we would go on to make one of the first architectural shingles in the 1960s with the Timberline series. That's what probably 80% of people have today is an architectural shingle, and we've continued to be an innovator and a mover. It's kind of a neat company. We're owned by a company named Standard Industries, which is a large privately held, fully American company. We're not listed, anything like that. And one of the cool things about the Standard Industries, our parent company, is Miss Heyman, the owner of the company, is a woman. We're a very large female-owned company, and the company is run by her two sons, David and David, who oversee GAF, BMI, all these other companies that we're involved with. But that just brief history of GAF.
Yeah.
But why is that important? When you've been around for over 100 years, you've been an industry leader. Many of the innovations that all of my competitors talk about or our competitors talk about are innovations we actually made. So kind of like going to the source a lot of times for us. Yeah. I'm also very proud of the fact that I work for a company, and GAF is a company. We're a roofing company. Everything we do is about protecting what matters most, which is your roof, and then that's what protects everything in your home. So I'm kind of proud of that we're not involved in all these other endeavors. So we really focus wholly on roofing systems, as you said. The GAF roofing system is something that GAF really came up with. We pioneered it. And the idea was we would see these roofs be made years ago, and you'd buy the shingles, you'd get some tar paper, you'd get the various waterproofing elements or the water resistant elements, and you kind of mix and match. And there was no continuity. And at the same time, there was nobody in the industry making products that kind of looked at something and said, are these products that we're using, these 4, 5, 6 items that all make up a complete roof, do they work well in conjunction with each other? So we come in and we said, why don't we start making these products so that each product complements each other? Also, by having that type of continuity, it allows us to train our people better. When we started the Master Elite program and some of the other certified programs we had, a big part of it was training. This gave us the ability to manufacture a complete system. So we take a roofing company now and we say, we're going to teach you how to install a roof from the roof deck right up to the shingle caps. So it gives us some control over the training process and the installation processes to make sure that we can cover the warranties that we offer. GAF offers some of the most comprehensive warranties in the industry. I'm sure we'll talk about that, but that's kind of in a very large sense why to use GAF and how we fit into the picture.
Yeah, awesome. So basically, what you're saying is GAF is we're the originators. They've been around the longest. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah, we're not
People
going anywhere.
have the confidence.
No, you can be assured that when you get a GAF roof, we're going to be around a long time.
Okay. Yeah. So you mentioned GAF Master Elite program. So kind of give me a brief idea of what that is, why it's beneficial. As a homeowner, why is that something that I should look at when I'm looking for a roofing company? Because I can go online and I can find endless roofing companies.
Sure.
Why does that seal? We've actually got it here. Why does that seal? What does that carry? What does that mean for me as a homeowner?
Yeah, it's peace of mind. It's peace of mind. It's the peace of mind that you're getting highly qualified people to install your roof. You're getting highly educated people who sell your roof. You're getting people who are accountable at the office level and the administrative level to you, but also to GAF to a certain extent, that the contractor is doing what we, for lack of a better word, demand of a Master Elite. And it should also be noted that our Master Elites come to the table wanting to do this. Like this is not an easy path. It takes years to become a Master Elite, and I'll get a little deeper into it. But it takes years to become a Master Elite. There's a lot of benchmarks that have to be met, and then you have to continue to meet these benchmarks over time. So it's kind of interesting that we have contractors that want to do this. So it shows a great deal of commitment because I get plenty of people call me up. Believe me, I get a lot of people call me up. I need to be a Master Elite, and when I tell them, I might get 100 people a year say I have to be a Master Elite. And when I tell them what it's going to take, maybe 2 of them say, I'm going to make that happen.
So it's really not just a pay-to-play sort of thing.
Absolutely not. And it's kind of funny. I threw that number out when I say I get 100, 2 of them will work out. Ironically, between 2 and 3% of our customer base are Master Elites. You're cherry picked. This is not a situation where we just throw this out there. In fact, a lot of times when people ask me about being a Master Elite and I tell them what it's going to take, I'm going in knowing that they're going, yeah, I'm not doing that. So we're really looking for that very dedicated, committed, like I said, 2 to 3% that say, I'm going to make that happen. The benefits beyond the peace of mind for the homeowner is our warranty levels for the Master Elite. A Master Elite, so we've got 3 different levels of warranty, and again, I'm sure we'll go into warranties, but we have a golden pledge and a silver pledge, which is unique because GAF, again, is your largest top-selling shingle manufacturer. We back the workmanship on those 2 warranties. We also are in a position that we own those warranties for 25 or 10 years. That's the workmanship angle. And that doesn't matter the status of the person who originally installed the roof. That's really important because if you go out of business, we're going to cover the workmanship for that. Or you retire. People do retire. Not everybody goes out of business. Some people just say, okay, I'm done. I'm going to retire. I'm going to sell the business. GAF is owning those, at least after the first 2 years. We'll talk about all that later. But that said, you get the benefit of these deeply enhanced warranties. But then, like I said, beyond the commitment, there's training that's involved. We're constantly training our master leads, whether it's in hand or hands-on application, or it's, again, sales training, knowledge training, things like that. I can tell you the master lead contractor is typically someone who has a great deal of knowledge, not just administratively, but with their hands.
Okay.
Your product's getting installed properly.
So, it kind of leads to what, we were talking a little bit earlier about. So it sounds like the idea being, if I have a roofing company and I decide to retire one day and you've just purchased or you've just done business with myself, if I'm gone, your roof is still protected with
Absolutely.
those, with just another GAF. So in other words, you have that confidence of knowing that I have another company, yes, but they are held to the same standards, same workmanship. So I'm really getting not necessarily the same company, how that company interacts with me may be different, but the quality of the roof, you're getting the same.
Absolutely. And the other thing too is that the warranties are owned by GAF. So that's one of the big benefits, is that that when you, as a consumer, when you buy one of our roofs, GAF, if you go with one of our enhanced warranties, GAF owns that warranty, at least after the first 2 years. Like I said, we can explain all that later, but yeah, it's and again, you've got the largest manufacturer of shingles in North America is backing all that. Been around for over 100 years. Yeah. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah. So warranties.
Mm-hmm.
So touching on that, going back to, I'm interested. I've determined I want to go with a GAF Master Elite Roofing Company. These guys are great. Cream of the crop. Now I'm looking at warranties.
Yeah.
And one of the most common questions, and I'm sure you've heard it, I'm only going to live in my home for 8 to 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
What is that benefit of that 25-year, 40-year? And you can kind of go in depth with what those warranty options are. But what is that benefit? What am I getting truly with that level of protection?
Yeah, it's tough for me to answer that question without going to the background of the warranties, and I can address that. Yeah. So the first part of it is that, again, we've got 3 levels of enhanced warranties: Golden Pledge, Silver Pledge, Systems Plus. The System Plus warranty, and this is going to sound much more complicated than it really is. Basically, as long as you own a home with GAF, when you buy an enhanced warranty through one of our certified contractors, you have a warranty with GAF. We are going to prorate that, or begin proration, at 50 years. So for the first 50 years, we're not going to ask you to pay anything to remove the old roof. If there's a manufacturing defect, remove the old roof, replace it with new, and obviously we pay for materials where applicable. So what happens is, for that first 50 years, you don't pay anything out of pocket. Now, I'm not in this format. I'm not going to go into the proration rates after 50 years. But again, just not to shoot myself down, but I'm 50. I will never, if I buy a roof today, I can tell you with my genetics, I'm not going to see the end of this proration period. Yeah. So sorry, Mom. but that said, so that's kind of the basis of all our warranties, is that limited lifetime warranty, 50 year. We're going to start proration. Where the silver comes in is we add a little bit of a buffer to that. For the first 10 years of your roof, we are going to pay for the workmanship repairs to the roof, should there be a workmanship leak, something like that. By the way, I also got to be very clear. Make sure that when you're dealing with a GAF certified contractor, that you get copies of the warranties. We provide those. Please go to our website. GAF has a great website. It's www.gaf.com, and has all the information about our warranties. Please read those and understand that I'm doing my best here in this format to give the very basics of it.
And not to digress on that, I will say that being in kind of the roofing industry from the marketing side for so many years, GAF is just a level above the rest. I can tell you, just the interaction that you get from their marketing team, from their sales team, from their production team. You do not get that with any of the other leading manufacturers. So
We
please
try.
go to their website.
Yeah.
And it's simple, it's clean, it's all the information you need. Very responsive. So yeah,
I'm to the point. I mean, I as an employee, I have access to some incredible information. Yeah, I use the website more than anything because it's quick and it's easy and everything I pretty much need is there. So please, anything that I say, please, just if you're interested in GAF warranty, either talk to your certified contractor. For other contractors that are listening to this, just GAF, probably the best thing to do is just hit a Google search, GAF find a TM. I'm a TM, a territory manager. Just punch your zip code in and we all come right up. And so that said, so again, limited lifetime warranty proration starts at 50 years. That's for all 3 levels of warranty. The Systems Plus covers materials only. The Silver Pledge covers 10 years of workmanship. That's very important, especially applicable to your last question. So if you have a leak, we will fix it to the requirements or the stipulations within the warranty. The Golden Pledge goes out 25 years. The other thing with this Silver and Golden Pledge, they have some other elements like cartage, haulage, things like that aren't in the Systems Plus. Another thing that's really important with the GAF warranties on these replacements, we don't depreciate the value of a roof. So should you have, it's 15 years later from now, we don't even have to go 15 years. Think about what a roof cost 4 years ago, which is really zero amount of time. College went by like that. So think about that. We've seen incredible increases in the price of roofing. Anybody who's bought a roof 10 years ago, I'm sure your people have told you, oh, I got somebody bought a roof 10 years ago and they just passed out when I hit them with this quote. It's a reality. But go to the grocery store. It's the same way. It's just, it is what it is. So that said, there are companies out there that say, well, you paid $15,000 for this roof in 2006. And you lived in the house since 2006. So not only are we going to depreciate the value of the house, we're going to pay you based on the value you paid for the roof. GAF doesn't do that. We have full replacement value. So what happens is that it's 5 years later, you need a roof. It's based on the labor and materials today, not 5, 10, 15 years ago. So that does fit into what you were saying a second ago. Number one, the Silver Pledge, you said 10 years. There's your 10 years workmanship. So let's say that the master elite contractor who did the job had a bad day. And I'm very candid. If you do anything enough, you let's face it, you're going to stumble from time to time. You're going to make a mistake. Now, Babe Ruth struck out a whole lot, so it does happen. How do we react to that? So a company like GAF takes this very seriously. We go to work for the customer. We want these warranties taken care of for the customer. And to be fair, again, because of that partnership with our master elite contractors, our certified contractors, what we ask them to do, they go in, most of these companies, I would say, go in with the idea of they want to partner with us. And to be fair, some of our contracting competitors, because they're reputable. They want to be tied to a reputable company. So we're going to be in a position where we're going to take care of your problem. So for that first 10 years, you're going to sell the house in 10 years. If you have a leak, you've got this Silver Pledge to help you do that. Maybe you say, I'm going to live in the house for 20 years. Somebody like me, doubtful I'm going to be living in my house. I want to cut the grass and take care of it the way I have to when I'm 70. So I'm in a position where I might not live that long, live in that home that long. Maybe not 20, probably 15 is what I'm thinking. Honey, sorry, but this is where my head is. But that said,
coming out
oh yeah, she's going to hit me on this one. But that said, again, I know for 20 years I have this security blanket over the workmanship. At the same time, our warranties are fully transferable one time at no cost. So now you've got this great company with a great reputation that anybody can go online. Look, go to Google and punch in any innocuous roofing term. GAF is likely to be the first to come up. I was actually with one of my other contractors, another part of the state, and just out of curiosity, she punched in the name of her company. And GAF actually came up before she did. And so it's just kind of funny. We've got that type of presence. So that said, if somebody can go and they know they got this great company, if they're buying a house, they know they got this great company with a warranty that's going to transfer. By the way, our silvers and golds transfer to that workmanship transfers. So it's just a great program that's actually sellable. replacement value. Hey, that's important, because one thing that we do know is National Association of Realtors over the last probably dozen years, I forgot what it's either called the pain index or the joy index. I don't know if they went positive or negative, but what they did is they went to people and they said, what gives you the most joy when you're looking at a home, or what gives you the most pain? And new roofs actually was number one. We always think kitchens and baths, but new roofs is what has been coming up, because you think about it, when you buy a house, I say this as a roofing guy. I say this as somebody who came up it started in the window industry. As much as I love these exterior industries, the fact is we always kind of played second fiddle to kitchens and baths. And the reality is nobody walks into a new home and says, oh, I can't wait to put a new $25,000 roof on this house I just paid $400,000 for. Like, nobody. Us and AC people, like nobody wants us walking in. Where the kitchen guy comes in, the cabinet guy, like, oh, I can't wait to see all your samples. Mm-hmm. So it's tough. So it does play in if you're going to sell the house. This is important. This gives you another tool, another arrow in the quiver when you sell your home.
Well, it's definitely too. I guess if you're looking to sell the home, and one of those things that's kind of contingent on that, closing is, well, your roof's 30 years old. You have granule loss. You have algae. You've got missing shingles. I go and replace the roof. Some people may have I'm just going to throw on something cheap so I can get the home sold. However, if I choose, like you said, a GAF roofing system, I'm essentially giving them a warranty.
You are giving them a warranty. Yeah. So it's not essentially, you are doing it. So it does help them out to feel a greater sense of security. The other thing to keep in mind too, and this happens, and it works both ways where I'm going with this, but a lot of people go into a house and they say, I'm just going to spend 5 years here and I'm going to sell it. Many people who are listening to this right now, maybe bought a home a year ago and they have a 3.5% interest rate. Today, the interest rates are 7-8%.
They're not
so
leaving.
Now there's a whole lot of people. This is an issue in our market here in Chattanooga. It's an issue. I was listening to the radio this morning. I was listening to one of the news talk stations. A major issue in this market with the housing situation is people aren't selling homes. There's no new listings because people are saying, well, I'm not going to give up a 3.5 or 4% interest rate for a 7 or 8% interest rate. I'm going to have to get a smaller house or maybe a house in a neighborhood I don't want to be. And why would I do that? So now all of a sudden that person, well, I'm only going to be here for 5 years. Guess what? You're here for a while. So yeah. So sometimes I understand the thinking, and as somebody who's moved around multiple markets, I get it. But for the low cost of these warranties, they certainly pay out. It's really a good security blanket to have for a homeowner.
All right. Well, kind of switching gears a little bit from warranty information and over to more of the design aspect of it. So with GAF, just what kind of shingles are your most popular? And I know that's going to be very different depending on the area of the country. We are located in East Tennessee, Southeast. So, the architectural shingles are very popular around here. What do you see as the most popular now? But do you see anything changing in the next 10, 15 years? There's a lot of new technology coming out with solar shingles through GAF. What do you see changing in the next generation, next 10 years, 20 years?
This is the thing that, being somewhat introspective, I remember an uncle of mine saying you're going to reach a point in your life that you're going to realize there's things that are coming that are going to be really exciting, and you're not going to be able to be a part of that. And that's kind of where I am in my life, that, I'm looking at what's coming down the pike. Like you said, 20 years from now, I'm not. Who knows? Who knows? In 20 years, I am of the opinion. I used to joke around and say, "Oh, when I'm 55, I'll be retired." Well, now I'm kind of staring down 55. I'm like, what am I going to do? I'll just work. But I kind of like working. I'll just work. But that said, this business is getting ready to have just incredible change over the next dozen years, and you mentioned solar. Solar's a little tricky because the solar situation is we came out with a solar roof. Please feel free to go GAF Energy. Again, you can check out GAF Energy online and see the solar roof. It's a great program. We actually integrate a solar panel into a shingle. It's an incredible system. It is wildly popular. In fact, it's so wildly popular that we're building 3 plants as we speak to address the market demand of right now. So this is 3 plants just for now. So we'll be continuing to grow this program. And so what it does is that, in a way, I think you could say obviously it creates energy. So somewhat monetizes your roof, which is a pretty neat aspect, that we can now monetize a building element to your home, and we can do it in a way that doesn't have the elements that we see traditionally. Let's face it, when you drive by a lot of homes with solar panels, like, well, solar panels. It is a solar panel. And while the GAF solar roof does have an array on top, you got to see it. Please go to the website again, check it out, because it's integrated. It's very flat. It's just a really sharp looking product. One of the problems we have, though, is that it does rely on a certain amount of state participation, government participation at the state level. So, and this has been a frustration for folks like me in Tennessee. Yeah. Anybody who lives in Tennessee knows what we're talking about. But anyway, I'll leave that there before I get myself into trouble. But that said, it will eventually come to the entire country as we build capacity for the product. But that's one of the big things I think is probably the most exciting that we get into. I think that metal systems within the shingle industry over the next dozen years are going to become critical. They're going to become pivotal. I would say that composites are going to play in, and that you'll see some work with composites. We actually used to have a composite product going into COVID. Things kind of happened. We'll see. Maybe that comes back. I don't know anything, but I have to believe that composites are always being looked at, because the reality is that we've got landfills all over the place. Mm-hmm. How do we, again, work with this? Which brings me to one of the really cool things that we do at GAF is our res shingle program, which is a fully recycled shingle program. Really neat. Again, GAF.com. It's all on our website. Right now, that program it's a burgeoning program. We don't have it here yet. It is coming, and it's coming fast. Where we actually, one of the big issues that we have from an industry standpoint are all these athletic shingles that sit in landfills, and they're going to be there for a long time. So we went to the market and said, how do we now take all these old shingles and make a product out of them? So what we found was that we could grind these down using certain types of proprietary polymers and whatnot, and not only be able to make new shingles out of the product, but also make some other things. We have a company called Street Bond, and they do it's painting for coatings. It came from our coatings. Coatings is a type of commercial roofing, and we figured that we could use this product on actual asphalt and concrete. And so they're using this product now, this recycled product. It also helps the contractors with their waste needs. So it's really a neat program as the thing is growing. And over there, I would say that one will be much faster than some of these other programs. Like in a dozen years, I'd say within 5, res shingles will be very popular. We're now using them right now. I do know I was in another market for a while, and I got to make a visit and got to see the product actually physically going up. That was in Louisiana on a big project, a nonprofit project. And it's just cool to think, wow, I work for this company that's got this foresight. So I think that those are going to be big in the world of what we do now. Asphalt, architectural shingles, that's the vast majority of our business. For the new construction, there's still 3 tabs out there, but the pricing difference, and the 3-tab shingles, one kind of looks like a brick laid out on a roof, very popular even a dozen years ago. But it used to be a very big price consideration because they did offer a great value. But today, because of production and the need to make more athletic shingles, we actually have to stop what we're doing to make 3 tabs. So it actually costs us more money, and that gap between the pricing is pretty much caught up. And when we factor in the warranties that are offered on architectural shingles, take a look at architectural shingles before you look at
So correct me if I'm wrong. So the 3-tab shingles are not going to be able to carry the same warranties as the architectural? Yeah,
they do to a certain extent. And I will tell you this, and I probably wait till my boss sees this, I sell so few of those that as far as warranty on a 3-tab goes, please go up to gaf.com, look at Royal Sovereign. All the warranty information is right there.
Okay.
I don't want to give out bad information.
No,
And
yeah,
I'm not sure. I don't want to
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, but I know it on architecturals. But I do want to just bring up one other thing on the architectural shingle front. Color is becoming such a big thing now, but it's amazing. We're getting more demand. It seems, at least in our market, I'm getting people who are hitting me with all this demand for different colors, but at the same time, it's just amazing charcoal. How it used to be weatherwood was really the big one. Weatherwood is kind of a grayish brown color, and it was amazing how that was everything. And now today, it's my Lord, it just seems like everybody wants a charcoal roof, which is great. We'll make them. And but couple of things on the color front that's real cool is our Harvest Blend series, which takes these very traditional looking shingles and gives a multi-tiered coloring to them, and they just look great. Again, that's HDZ Harvest Blend, 4 colors in that line. They just look fantastic. And for the person who's looking for something unique and different, but still wants to stay in that architectural series, it gives a lot of pop. And then we're really excited about our Ultra High Def, Ultra HDZ, I'm using the old term. What a great line that is. Dual shadowing on it. It just looks thick and pretty, and it is an awesome looking. Again, that's Ultra HDZ. Check it out on the website. Look at the comparison shots. It's the pewter gray in that thing is just, stunning.
We'll put some pictures and videos of this stuff.
Yeah,
on,
that one's great.
As we've talked as well. Now, talk a little bit about your top tier shingles, your more designer series. How often do you see those installed? I've been able to go out and take some drone photos.
Yeah.
Very seldom, unfortunately, and they're beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, they really is there a difference in quality? Or is it really just a style decision?
Yes, on both. To go with a designer shingles are usually trying to emulate something else. So, like a shake shingle, a shake style shingle would, for the people who've been to say like Scotland or England, you see the shake styles and the slates. We have athletic shingles that give the impression of being very similar to that. The old shake styles you might see up in New England or Northeast Canada, we have shingles that look like that, and they're athletic, and they carry these long, again, lifetime warranties, 50-year duration, algae protection. We need to talk about that one, but we've got these really neat shingles. You can look up GAF Designer Series. I will tell you that in this market, we've got one called Grand Sequoia, and it's supposed to emulate a very traditional cedar shake is what it's supposed to look like, and it does. It's just an awesome looking roof. In this market, for people who would be in the Tennessee market, we only carry that in what's called a Class 4 shingle, which is an impact rated shingle. So there could be, I don't want to say there will be, before looking at a product like that, probably wise to call your insurance agent and say, look, I'm looking at a Class 4 shingle. This has hail benefit. And so with that said, it's just an awesome looking shingle, a lot of variation. And it was funny. My wife and I were driving through a neighborhood in Knoxville not too long ago. And she was driving. I said, stop the car. I was like, it's Grand Sequoia. And she was like, you stopped me for that? I was like, yes, it's awesome. But, designers, I don't want to put a number on it. If I had to, I'd probably say 10-15% of our market is designers. Okay. I have seen an uptick in that. And I think that people now, I don't think people really looked at their roofs years ago. I think 15 years ago, they were like, just get something on there that's going to protect it. But now they really do. I think that it's safe to say for people in our industry, some of the activity online and some of the TV shows we all know about, they can help us a great deal. They can also kind of be a little bit of a like, what are you doing? But that said, I think that they brought a lot of attention to the envelope of the house. And I was watching one recently, one very popular show, and the lady mentioned the shingles and how they looked. And it was like, wow, she actually mentioned shingling. This is somebody who's famous for, the inside of the house. And she was talking about how great the shingles look. But designers really give your house a very distinct look. And they can, I think for the people who have, again, distinct houses, but also very traditional houses, those people who have the Victorian homes, which we see in Chattanooga here quite a bit,
We do.
some of our things like Slate Line, Camelot 2. Camelot 2 is a very traditional. It just looks. It's made. Look at the name. It's made for the Victorian style home. Just a beautiful product. These are really cool products. And I think when somebody puts a designer shingle on their home, they're showing a great deal of pride in that house and an understanding that they want to stick out and say, yeah, look at what we did.
And they do. They make people stop in the middle of the road. And
Absolutely. And not just shingle people, not just shingle people. It's funny. I actually had somebody say to me one day, they said, I saw this really cool shingle on this house and it was just different. And I knew what it was as soon as they said it. And they said the way it was shaped and everything. I said, oh yeah, that's awesome. Like I knew it was Slate Line. I just knew what it was. So I love the Slate Line of Woodlands. They have a very, again, slate type of look to them. What a great product.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned algae.
Yeah.
It's
Big concern here.
We kind of skipped over. Obviously out here in East Tennessee, we have a lot of trees, a lot of algae. So,
is it humid here?
Yeah. Just talk a little bit about, one question that you'll see a lot is, can you pressure wash a roof? What's pressure washing? And as according to what GAF would cover, but also how to prevent that. What does the warranties cover? Just a little bit more information about that, because again, if you live in a humid environment, so.
Yeah. So, it's kind of interesting. Algae is when you go and you have a roof and you see it predominantly on lighter colors, your whites and grays, that the black streaks running down a roof. That's blue-green algae. And it is absolutely just inherent in our atmosphere, especially east of the Mississippi River, where we deal with very high humidity levels. One of the things that we deal with here, not only do we have the high humidity, but as you know, there's some houses that might see the sun, it might be sitting in a hollow, on the backside of Signal Mountain. They might see the sun 2 hours a day. Yeah. So it is ripe for algae growth. And we as a company have just gone out of our way to really figure this one out. So we pioneered a product called StainGuard Plus. Well, StainGuard, now it's StainGuard Plus. And what this is and again, it's on our website. It's a metallic, proprietary metallic product that is ingrained into our roof. And what happens is over time, as water hits the roof, moisture hits the roof, it leaches down over the roof and puts a layer of protection on a roof, and it kills blue-green algae. Now, the way GAF does this, and this is also important in the overall warranty situation, because we talked about Systems Plus, Silver, and Gold. We have other warranties that are built into our shingling systems. This is one of them. So what's nice about us is 25 years on that shingle. You just have to buy and install a shingle. That's it. Some of the other algae programs that are out there with some of my competitors have other requirements about some other items that have to be purchased, and some of the stipulations they have about what they're going to do on what is needed before they do a claim. Us, just install the shingles, have blue-green algae. We are going to work out a deal to basically wash that roof off, and which is perfectly okay. But you asked about pressure washing. That is a big no-no. And I actually saw an ad on Facebook with a picture of a guy. Oh, we do house washing, and he's up there on a roof. I was like,
pressure washing.
Oh my, yeah, that will kill your warranty in a minute. So there are companies that specialize in roof washing. You can usually, again, just go online or just search them out. And so what we're looking for is what's called a soft wash. And it's basically spray washing the roof, but it's low pressure, basically garden hoses and some chemicals. We are not in that business, but it's something to talk maybe to some contractors and seek them out. Soft washing is what we want to see. We never want to see any type of scrubbing or again high velocity washing.
Just take all the granule.
It'll knock it right off. And I see a lot out here, and I have seen situations where people, I have granule loss, and I look and there's these perfect fan-shaped shots where I'm like, oh, okay, did you wash the roof? Oh yeah.
I really scrubbed it. Got it.
Great. So yeah, it's like, I shouldn't have done that.
Well, so the last thing that I want to get into here with GAF, I think is a little bit more fun, a little less technical, is seeing a lot online with some certain Marvel Avengers and a lot of community involvement that GAF
Oh
is
yeah,
doing.
there you go.
So just talk a little bit about, what is GAF doing currently for communities? I mean, we've heard a lot of programs that they do for nonprofits and just a lot of really exciting stuff that I've seen, but maybe just talk a little bit about what GAF is doing to kind of give back to our communities.
Yeah, it is such a big part of our company, and one of them I actually get. Sometimes I gotta watch out. Sometimes I actually get a little emotional about it. But the community matters is real important to us. GAF Community Matters. So I look at the camera, but GAF Community Matters. What a great organization! And what we do in that one, that's big projects. Here in Chattanooga, we did a YMCA last year. I'm working on one with Armor Xteriors that hopefully that one's going to go through. But what we're looking for is big projects, things that affect people, where they live. And you had mentioned the Marvel universe. Captain America, I forgot his name. The new Captain America.
New Captain America.
New Captain America. He's from what's called the Lower Ninth Ward, what used to be called the Lower Ninth Ward in New Orleans. I used to live down there, and actually one of the contractors, if you go to Community Matters website, there's a lot of information there. One of the contractors is a very close friend of mine, Todd Gressmaster Elite, friend of Paul's. So we went down there and just got to see that whole thing. And they were putting roofs on like 14 homes. These are multi-generational homes, very common in that part of the country. And this storm's coming, they get their houses ripped off, and then they don't have the money. A lot of these people are uninsured. They don't, because again, these houses have been paid off for 100 years. They don't have insurance on them. So we went in and provided the materials to do these projects. We do them all over the country. Again, community matters. What a great program. It's really where we step out, and it's like I said, it's a good project that you get to see when you buy a product from GAF. Part of that money goes to programs like that really do affect people for sustainable living, what we call resilient living. And that's where that New Orleans things comes in, or here in Tennessee, some of the projects that we're working on. Resilient living is the idea of what I just said. We want people to live in homes where the roofs are done in a way that when the storms come and the wind comes and the hail comes, these things hold up. Because we don't want the people to have to replace these roofs again and again. And that's where resilient living comes in. It's a real big focus of our company. Everybody knows Habitat for Humanity. We are a large benefactor of theirs. We do a ton of homes with them. I just wrote one up this morning. Love that program. And then there's a lot of things we do that kind of off the radar with our Master Elite contractors. And they come to us and they say, hey, I just had somebody the other day, they're doing a benefit this winter for the Shriners. I was like, we're in. Let's do something. And, we're always going to help our local people and try to just be part of our community. We live here. I live here. I live in Knoxville. Now, I'm not somebody that flew in from Vegas. We want to take care of the local community. But the one that kind of gets me, because a lot of manufacturers reps come into the industry, so to speak. They come out of college and they just get right into the manufacturing side of it. I was a little different. I came swinging a hammer. I got the crooked fingers and scars to prove it. And so when I started 30 years ago swinging a hammer, we were in a very different environment. And getting jobs was tough, and especially in the trades. Now, you get treated with kid gloves. Mm-hmm. I remember going to work and nobody knew my name for a year. And all you did was get hazed. Yeah. And but it's not like that so much anymore. And so I had to do some really low end work to kind of get my name going, and that has stuck with me. And I know what it was like when I was knocking on doors, like, I want to learn the trade. I was like, sorry, kid, get out of here. And so we've got the Roofing Academy, which I'm very proud of that program. We take people. And I want to be real careful because some people think this is like a disadvantaged program, and it's not. We just want people who say, yes, I will get on that roof and I want to work. I want to work with my hands. And we take them, we bring them in, we train them up for a couple of weeks. We teach them everything they need to know. They come out of the program with a certificate. So now they can come to a master elite and say, hey, I got the certificate from GAF, I'm ready to go. And at the same time, we give them a small tool set and really work to get them up and running. And it's especially in the look, it's no secret with guys like Mike Rowe out there bringing a lot of attention to the trades. This is needed. We need young people. We just need people who want to join the trades and they want to work. This industry is, and I'm talking about construction now, can be so lucrative and it can be so rewarding to people. And we need people to realize that there is an avenue for the person who says, I don't want to work a desk job. I say that as a guy who works a desk job and is in a car all day. But believe me, I swung a hammer for a long time. And this one touches me because I want more people in the trades. I want them to know. And I really do put a great value on production and work. And I want people to be skilled. I want them to learn a trade when they, when it's desirable to them. And I love the fact that GAF gets out there and helps people do that. I just love it. So it's a really good program. But along with Habitat for Humanity, Community Matters, just the general things we do, GAF TMs love to hear about somebody who needs help.
You mentioned just trades in general. I've noticed that even in my lifetime. Maybe I came up, I grew up in the 90s. And there were still a lot of the graduate high school, go to college. What do I go to college for? Just go.
Yeah.
We're now at that stage in society where I went to college, but
same here. I went.
But what I went to college for is not what I do today. But what we're now seeing is that there's just as much, if not much more money in so many trades
and security
in general. And job security is the biggest.
Yeah.
You join an electrical union at 21, you're set. Just work hard and you're set. And that's a really neat thing that GF does. I'm glad you brought that up. I think it was maybe on LinkedIn or something, maybe a couple weeks ago.
We do a lot on LinkedIn, especially with Roofing Academy and Community Matters. But the Roofing Academy is such a good program. And I would like to see those types of programs grow. And I think we will grow them because the need is there. And the thing that I find is what you're talking about right now is when I bring these programs up to contractors, they're like, yeah, this is awesome. How do we do this locally? Like they want to be involved. And it's great. Now, you mentioned going to college. I went to college in my 30s. I was, I think for me, it worked out well because had I gone to school right out of high school, I know how that would have been like Animal House it would have been a mess. But see, because I had an appreciation for work and production, now all of a sudden I went to college and I did pretty well, much better than I did in high school. Now, granted, when you're taking college courses, there's more interest in what you're doing, and so that was a big part of it. But I think a lot of it had to do with that work ethic that was founded. I came up in the flooring business. This is where I started, and there's a joke. It's the flooring business job where you start at the bottom and you stay there. But it was like, like there's some truth to that. But boy, did I learn about hard work and showing up, and when you're sore and you're tired. I was in the wood floor business.
Oh, so back-breaking work.
Absolutely. When you're just sore and tired and your hands are cramped, you go to work. And so I think that helped me later on. And I think in my role today, while I didn't work in roofing, I think there's somewhat of a kinship there because, it's funny when I deal with the guys who actually are putting roofs on, and I can see when they don't know me and they start talking to me and then they find out that like, oh, wait a minute, you know how to read a ruler? Like I just see the way they just kind of loosen right up when I know the terms, I know how to do things, and I'll grab a hammer and go to work. They're like, oh, wait a minute. So it's just such a rewarding thing. I didn't mean to go off on a tangent like this, but it's a good program, and I just love it. I love the idea that we're helping people. And I also want to reiterate, the program is not just for young people. We run all kinds of people through that program. One thing about the roofing industry we have to keep in mind is that, when it comes to workers, we're only going to get about 50% of the workforce. I'm talking about the labor workforce that's going to get on a roof. And let's face it, we're going to lose half of them the minute they step on the roof. And they go, I can't move. So it's like, we have to think about that. Like, how do we bring people into the industry? How do we educate them? How do we get them excited about this? This is a good trade. Yeah, I'll put this out there. Just about any trade out there is a good trade. I mean, there's so much money and opportunity. You mentioned real quick that with the unions, my father-in-law was an IBEW guy, and he talked about in his day, like they didn't bring apprentices in because they were in this protectionist mode. My dad was a Teamster. Same thing. They didn't want young guys coming in. Now the unions are advertising. Let's get young people. That tells you where we are, where we need people to work with their hands. We need it, and it can be such a great opportunity.
Well, and it's funny, it's rewarding, and maybe you kind of feel the same way. You sit at a desk all day long, and there are some days where I just want to go out and I want to do yard work, and I don't mind because I want to do something where I can just build, I can create, and just I don't have to be inundated with phone calls and emails and the stress of it. And but yeah, that's a really good program, and there's certainly a need for trades. And like you said, with the electrical unions, I mean, it used to be the only people that went to high schools. It was the Navy recruiter, Army recruiter.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Now it's electricians going to high schools.
Absolutely, they need people so bad, and the money's there, and it's all these different trades. I mean, the automotive trade. I'm just amazed now that when I go into when I go to a garage to get an oil change. We used to have signs in the windows that, tires on sale, oil change is 20. Now it's looking for new people. No experience necessary. We'll train. I saw one the other day. I was at a truck stop, and they had a sign that said, want to be a diesel technician, chance to make $100,000 in your first year, will train. I mean, it's like, wow. These jobs are lucrative. They're out there, and they're highly rewarding. I will tell you, as somebody who does a lot all day, I am a busy individual. We were sitting in the room a little while. You saw that phone going off. The proudest I am from my work and career. It's not the things that I've done in sales. I'm sorry to say that, but it's the houses I look back on. I worked in the Annapolis area, Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. I grew up in Delaware, and I look back at some of the houses. And when I go back home, if that's home, I've been there 25 years. But when I do go back home, I drive by certain houses. I'm like, yeah, that's an old chestnut floor. I remember doing that. And, oh yeah, that's that maple floor. And I have such a sense of pride because I know that my blood, sweat, and tears went into that, and that'll stay with me forever. And that's something I wish you could relay that to people who have an interest in the trades of how rewarding that work is. It's
very different than I got that sale. You can forget about that.
Yeah, because you're on to the next one. Yeah, you're on to the next one.
Well, man, I appreciate you coming in.
That's been fun.
This was very, very informative.
Good. I hope you get good reviews on it. I hope it gets bumped around. And it was fun being on the other side. Like I said, now it's been a long time since I've been behind the microphone, but to get questioned is so so different. I was always the one pounding out questions. Now it's very different.
We had the other gentleman in. First comment, well, like what you said, I was like, it feels like interrogation, but obviously he was like, no, actually, and it's like, okay. So.
No, this is a great setup, and yeah, it's been interesting. So hopefully I didn't get myself in trouble.
Well, if you did, we'll edit it out. Use AI.
Perfect.
Just
Perfect.
Well, all right, Ben. Well,
thank you so much.
Just real quickly, how can people get in touch with you? Or
Yeah. Best way to get in touch with us is www.gaf.com. That is the best way. If there's any contractors out there that might be interested, just reach out. Go to Google GAF, find a territory manager. And by the way, one thing that I take very seriously is that I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. Like, we don't live in a 9-to-5 world, especially in what I do for a living. And there might be a homeowner out here who asks questions, something like that. Again, just find a TM, put in your zip code. If you're in the Eastern Tennessee market, put in your zip code. You'll see my name, Ben Sarro. It'll come up under residential. Call me. That's my phone number. You got my email. Ben.Sarro, SARRO @GAF.com. I'm happy to take calls. I take calls from homeowners all the time. I'm happy to help them navigate.
And I'm sure you've got about 111 missed calls. But we'll put all these links in the description as well. So
yeah, good deal.
All right.
Good deal. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Yeah, take care.
It was great.
Yeah.